at least evidence from a family member of the accused person to speak to his alleged mental illness.
Engeri gye waali nga tewali biwandiiko by'abasawo okukakasa nti yali alina obulwadde bw'obwongo, waakiri aba famire oba b'ekika kye bandize ne bawa obujulizi nga boogera ku nsonga eyo ey'obulwadde bw'omutwe.
The brother of the accused person informed the court that he shares both parents with the accused person and they are both still alive and they live in Uganda.
Muganda we yagamba nti babazaala wamu abazadde bombi be bamu ate bakyaliwo babeera mu Uganda.
If it was true that indeed the accused person suffers from any disease of the mind, either his father or mother would have been eager to come to this court to relay that information with some evidence.
Nti singa kyali kituufu nti yali alina obulwadde bw'obwongo, waakiri taata we oba maama we yandize mu kooti n'ayogera ku nsonga eyo.
It is also important to note that the details of the witnesses who came to testify for the defense were furnished by the accused himself, but he chose not to call any of his parents as his witnesses, who would have been better placed to testify to the claim of insanity and or any other disease of the mind.
Nti abajulizi abajja omwawabirwa ye yagamba be yayagala naye teyasaba nti bamuyitire abazadde be ate nga bandize ne bannyonnyola ensonga eno ey'obulwadde bw'obwongo.
Considering the above, I would still proceed to pose this question. Supposing it was indeed true that the accused person has ever been in Butabika in 2020, as stated by his brother, of what relevance would it be in relation to this offense, which is alleged to have been committed on 2nd April 2026, given the legal principles regarding the defense of insanity, that the disease of the mind must be present at the time of the commission of the offense and must have prevented one from knowing what he or she is doing and that what she is doing is wrong.
Era ne kooti yeebuuziza nti singa kyali kituufu nti mu 2020 omwawabirwa yaliko mu ddwaliro ly'e Butabika, kikwataganira wano omusango guno ogwaliwo nga 2 Ogwokuna 2026. Era n'adda mu mateeka n'agamba nti balina okulaga nti obulwadde obwo bwaliwo akaseera ke yakolera ekintu kino, ate nti mu kaseera ako yali tasobola kutegeera nti kye yali akola kyali kikyamu oba si kikyamu.
It is my considered view that in the absence of any evidence that the accused person was suffering from the disease of the mind as at the time of commission of this offense, his being admitted in Butabika in 2020 would not be of any relevance to this case.
Olw'okubeera nti tewali bujulizi obulaga nti yali alina obulwadde bw'obwongo, ekyokugamba nti bali bamutadde mu ddwaliro e Butabika tekikwatagana mu musango guno.
I also need to note that in regard to the issue surrounding the admission in Butabika, that shortly it happened, I need to note that in regard to the issue surrounding the admission in Butabika, shortly into the evidence of DW2, the brother of the accused person, when he mentioned the word Butabika, counsel for the accused person made an application seeking for the orders of this court to order some doctors from Butabika to come and confirm that the accused person has ever been in Butabika, and also confirm that he is incapable, or to establish whether he was capable to follow the proceedings. But this was after he had given his defense.
Nti era n'atunuulira embeera ze bamutwaliramu mu ddwaliro e Butabika, era n'agamba nti omujulizi owokubiri ku lw'oludda lw'omuwabirwa nti bwe yayogera ku kigambo Butabika, looya w'omuwabirwa n'agambirawo nti bayite abasawo okuva Butabika okukakasa nti omuwabirwa yali tasobola kugoberera ebyali bigenda mu kooti, naye ebyo yabisaba ng'omuwabirwa amaze okuwa obujulizi.
I did not find calling anyone from Butabika relevant to this case, and I declined to grant that prayer, and I made a detailed ruling which is on record.
Nti teyalaba bwetaavu okuyita omusawo okuva butabika era yabuwandiika ku fayiro.
In a further bid to support the claim of being mentally unwell due to the distress said to have been between January and March 2026, the accused person testified that he abandoned his home in Bunga and started living on the streets. And to prove this defense, he adduced the evidence of DW3, whose identities were also withheld for his security. And he informed the court that he was 25 years old, living on the street, and he had seen the accused person only twice while he was in Chisenyi, together with 40 children, aged between 7 and 10 years, and then his age.
Nti omuwawaabirwa yagamba nti yali mu kiseera eky'okwenyamira wakati wa January n'ogwokusatu 2026 nti kyamuleetera okuva gye yali abeera ebbunga n'atandika okubeera ku kkubo n'amala n'aleeta omujulizi ow'okusatu era amannya ge tetujja gwogera olw'ebyokwerinda bye, naye yagamba nti yali wa myaka 25 egy'obukulu nga yali abeera ku luguudo. N'agamba nti yali alabyeko omuwawaabirwa emirundi 2 gyokka nga bali Kisenyi era nga yali alina abaana abalala 4 nga baali ba myaka wakati wa 7 ne 10, abamu nga bali mu myaka gye.
Okay, I will summarize his evidence. He testified that he saw the accused went to Chisenyi, and when the street children saw him, they requested for some water to drink, and he offered them food, which he actually paid for. And as he was leaving, he requested the witness for his contact, and they shared contact numbers. And the next time, he came with water in a 10-liter jerrycan and gave it to the witness with the other children. That is the summary of his evidence.
Nti omujulizi ono yajja n'agamba nti omuwawaabirwa yajjako mu Kisenyi ne bamusaba amazzi g'okunywa, mu kifo ky'okubawa amazzi g'okunywa n'abagulira emmere n'asasula. Bwe yali avaawo n'asaba ennamba y'essimu y'omujulizi ono, n'agamba nti olwaddako yajja nga alina akadomola ka lita 10 kalimu amazzi n'agawa omujulizi ono n'abaana abalala.
And he told him that the reason he wanted his telephone contact is that whenever he would need the children, he would help him to gather the children.
N'amugamba nti ensonga lwaki yali ayagala enamba ye y'essimu, yali ayagala nti bw'aba ayagala abaana ono amuyambeko okubakungaanyiza wamu.
Counsel for the accused person, while relying on the claim of being on the streets, submitted and said that it is not possible for a normal person to leave their home and start living on the street. But this court finds that there was no evidence that actually the accused person has ever lived on the street. He only went twice to these children in Chisenyi.
Nti lawyer w'omuwawaabirwa yagamba nti tekisoboka omuntu omulamu okutandika okuva ewuwe waka n'atandika okubeera ku kkubo, naye Oweekitiibwa Omulamuzi agamba tewali bujulizi obulaga nti yali abeera ku kkubo, wabula yagendayo emirundi 2 ng'agenda kugulira bano abantu emmere.
Also, this court notes that there was also evidence that as at the time of his arrest, he was not on the street. He had a home in Chanja, as testified by the landlord called Joel Mackay. He testified as PW10.
Nti ate we baamukwatira yali abeera ekyanja, ate n'omujulizi eyajja wano yali landlord we bamuyita Mackay, yali mujulizi wa 10.
In light of the above, the accused person failed to adduce any evidence to support this claim that he was not mentally okay on 2nd April 2026 when he gruesomely and brutally murdered the innocent infants.
nti n'olwekyo omuwawaabirwa alemereddwa okuleeta obujulizi okukakasa nti omutwe gwe gwali tegukola bulungi oba nga yali alina obulwadde bw'obwongo nga 2 Ogwokuna 2026 lwe yatta abaana abato.
The other probable defense that would be available to the accused person, given from his testimony, would be a defense of diminished responsibility. And this one is provided for under Section 177(1) of the Penal Code Act.
Ekirala ekyandimuyambye kyakugamba nti yali obwongo obwo nga tasobola kutegeera bulungi bye yali akola.
And this one also, it is where a person is found guilty of murder or being a party to the murder of another, and the court is satisfied that the person was suffering from an abnormality of mind arising out of arrested or retarded development of mind. This relates to somebody who has a disease of the mind that has resulted into poor development of the mind. And that as a result of that, it takes away the person's mental responsibility.
Nti omuntu bw'aba nga omusango ogw'obutemu gumusinga naye ne basanga nga omutwe yali alina obulwadde bw'obwongo ate ng'obulwadde bw'obwongo bwali tebusobola kumukkiriza kubeera ng'ategeera ebyali bigenda mu maaso.
Even with that, the law provides in subsection 2 that if you raise that as your defense, it is you to prove that you are suffering from an abnormality of the mind.
Era amateeka agagamba nti bw'ogamba nti obwongo obwo bwali tebukola bulungi oba ng'olina obulwadde bw'obwongo olina okuleeta obujulizi okukakasa nti kyaliwo.
Looking at the evidence that the accused person adduced, there is nowhere he's talking about a retardation of his mind. The only issue that the accused person suffers from and was talked about by many witnesses is sickle cell disease.
Nti kusinziira ku bujulizi omuwawaabirwa bwe yaleeta teri kiraga nti yali alina obulwadde bw'obwongo kule okujjako balaga nti yali alina obulwadde bwa nnalubiri oba sickle cell.
And when Dr. Agenda was asked as to whether sickle cell anemia is not an underlying cause for mental illness, he said it is not, but it is a risk factor.
Omusawo gwe bayita Agenda bwe yajja ne bamubuuza oba sickle cell eviiramu omuntu okufuna obulwadde bw'obwongo n'agamba nedda, naye muntu bw'aba alina sickle cell ayinza okukomenkerera ng'afunye obuzibu ku bwongo.
And he said this is as a result of too much pain and also the strength of the medication for sickle cells. But he hastened to add that when he was examining the accused person did not present any symptoms of the mental of any mental disabilities that may have been caused by sickle cell disease.
N'agamba nti ekyo kiyinza okuviira ku bulumi oba eddagala lya nnalubiri, naye n'agamba nti bwe yayogerera naye yali talina kiraga nti yali alina obulwadde bw'obwongo nga kiva ku bulwadde bwa nnalubiri.
Counsel for the accused vehemently argued that upon his arrest, the accused person was found with painkillers, which included diclofenac, and this court should find that this medicine was treatment for mental illness. But with all due respect, this argument is not supported by any evidence.
Nti Pulida yalemerako n'agamba nti bwe baakwata omuwawaabirwa yali alina eddagala oba makerenda ga painkiller nga diclofenac, naye tewaliwo obujulizi obukakasa ekyo.
No, he said that when he was arrested, he was found with painkillers. and the painkillers included diclofenac. This court should find that this medicine, the diclofenac, was used to treat a mental illness, was being used to treat a mental illness.
Nti bwe bamukwata yali alina painkiller nga diclofenac, kooti erina okulaba nti gano amakerenda oba yali agakozesa okujjanjaba obulwadde bw'obwongo.
And I said that with all the respect to counsel, this argument was not supported by any evidence, because even when he was asked what kind of mental illness the accused was treating, he had no answer to that.
Nti naye wali tewali bujulizi bwonna obukakasa nti yali alina obulwadde bw'obwongo, ne lwe baamubuuza
He said he did not know the
n'agamba nti yali tamanyi bulwadde ki bwennyini bwe yali alwadde
that he was treating.
bwe bali bajjanjaba.
In light of the above, I also find that the defense of diminished responsibility is not available to the accused person.
Okusinziira ku ebyo, Oweekitiibwa Omulamuzi alaba nti okugamba nti obwongo obwo bwali tebuteredde nakyo tekisobola kumuyamba.
On the contrary, the prosecution adduced evidence to show that at all material times, the accused was of a normal mental status and in control of his actions, as will be discussed and analyzed below.
Nti oludda olwabi lwaleeta obujulizi obulaga nti buli kaseera omuwawaabirwa yali ali bulungi nga ategeera biki bye yali akola.
Prosecution adduced evidence of a sanity medical report which had been authored by Dr. Rogers Agenda. He's a psychiatrist at C-Care IHK.
Nti oludda olwabi lwaleeta alipoota y'obulwadde bw'obwongo nga omusawo gwe bayita Agenda Roger akolera ku ddwaliro lya IHK yagiwandiika.
This sanity medical report was found in the house of the accused person during the search that was conducted on 3rd April 2026, and it was admitted as an exhibit.
Nti ate alipoota eyo bali bagisanga mu nnyumba y'omuwaabirwa bwe bagenda kwaza nnyumba ye nga 3 Ogwokuna 2026 era ne bagireeta mu kooti ng'ekizibiti.
And C-Care IHK verified it and confirmed it to be authentic, and Dr. Rogers Agenda testified to it.
Nti era ab'eddwaliro erya C-Care IHK lyakakasa nti alipoota eyo yali ntuufu era ne basindika omusawo Agenda n'ajja n'agyogerera.
He testified that on 30th December 2025, he received the accused person as his client with a request to conduct a sanity examination and furnish him with a sanity report to be submitted to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Immigration Department.
Omujulizi oyo omusawo Agenda yagamba nti ng'ennaku z'omwezi 3 Ogw'ekumi 2025 yafuna omuwawaabirwa ng'azze gy'ali n'amusaba nti amukebere obwongo oluvannyuma amuwandiikire alipoota nga yali agitwala mu Ministry of Internal Affairs ne Immigrations.
He went ahead and did a psychiatric and mental examination on the accused person, and that report, the certified copy from C-Care IHK, was also admitted as an exhibit.
Nti era yagenda mu maaso n'amukebera obwongo oluvannyuma n'awandiika alipoota ne bamala ne bagireeta ng'ekizibiti.
According to him, the accused person presented himself as a 30-year-old single Christian by religion, resident of Bunga and self-employed mainly as a commercial farmer.
Nti yagamba nti omuwawaabirwa yamutuukirira n'amugamba nti yali wa myaka 39 nga si mufumbo, ng'agamba nti yali mugoberezi wa Kristo ng'abeera Bunga ate nga yali mulimi nga byalima atunda.
He testified that he carried out a psychiatric interview which involves asking the client many times open-ended questions with the aim of establishing or enlisting whether the client has any mental disorder.
nti yatandika n'okumubuuza ebibuuzo ebingi ng'ayagala kulaba oba yali alina obulwadde bwonna ku bwongo.
Upon examination, the following were his findings. And I'm going to read them verbatim. He reports no history of excessive sadness or loss of interest in pleasurable activities.
Bwe yamala okumukebera n'agamba nti yali talina kiraga nti yali anyiizeeko nnyo oba n'okubeeraawo nga tayagala kwenyigira mu bintu ebyesanyu.
He has no history of excessive happiness or increased goal-directed activity.
Nti ate yali talina kiraga nti yali asanyuseeko ekisukkiridde oba okwagala kukola ebintu ebisukkiridde.
He has no history of alcohol or substance use, although he occasionally took alcohol.
N'agamba nti yali talina kiraga nti yali anywa nnyo omwenge oba kulya ebidagala.
He denies any history of hearing voices or seeing things others could not see.
N'ayegaana nti yali tawulira oba kulaba ebintu abantu abalala bye baali tebalaba oba okuwulira.
He has no history of excessive fears or worries and has never had a seizure.
N'agamba nti yali talabeerangako awo n'atya ennyo oba naye eraliikirira nnyo.
He denies any traumatic experiences and sleeps well.
Era yeegaana okubeera nga waliwo ebimutabula nnyo mu bwongo n'agamba nti yali yeebaka bulungi.
This is his index visit to a mental health personnel and has never been on any psychiatric medication.
Era n'amugamba nti gwali mulundi gwe gwali gusookera ddala okulaba omusawo w'obwongo era yali tamirangako amakerenda g'okujanjaba obwongo.
He is a known patient of sickle cell disease and regularly takes his medications.
Era bamumanyi nti alina obulwadde bwa nnalubiri era abadde ng'amira makerenda.
He has no other chronic medical conditions.
Talina bulwadde bulala.
He is the third born of 4 children.
Ye mwana w'okusatu mu maka g'abaana abana.
Both their parents are alive and well.
Abazadde baabwe bombi bwe bali ate bali bulungi.
There is no known mental history in the family.
Era tebamanyiko muntu yenna alina obulwadde bw'obwongo mu kika ekyo.
That was a psychiatric assessment. The mental status examination revealed the following, still by the same doctor. He is a middle-aged man who appears his age.
Era bwe yayongera okumwekebeja n'agamba yali omusajja eyali akuzeemu ate nga yali alabika emyaka gye.
He is well nourished and kempt.
Era yali alabika bulungi.
He is generally calm and keeps eye contact.
Nti yali mukkakkamu ate ng'asobola kusigala ng'atunula bulungi ng'alaba abantu wamu.
No odd behavior was noted throughout the interview.
Nti ate we yamwekebejjeza yali nga yeeyisa bulungi nga tewali we yali we yeeyisa bubi.
His speech is of normal rate, tone and volume, and is generally coherent and fluent.
Nti ate bye yayogera byali bikwatagana bulungi.
His thoughts are logical with no preoccupations overvalued ideas or delusions.
Nti ate n'endowooza ye yali ekwatagana bulungi.
He has a euthymic mood congruent with affect and has no perceptual or cognitive disturbance.
Nti era bye yali akola byali bikwatagana n'embeera ze.
He concluded his diagnosis as follows. Onyum Christopher Okello has no established mental disorder. I therefore affirm that Onyum Christopher Okello is sane and mentally fit to live and work in Uganda.
Era n'amala n'agamba nti Christopher Okello Onyum talina bulwadde bwa bwongo, si mulalu ate ng'asobola kubeera oba kukolera mu Uganda.
The prosecution also adduced the evidence of Dr. Nwamanya Emmanuel. That one is the police surgeon. He also did a mental examination on him on the 7th of April. This was now after the commission of this offense, 5 days after. And these were his findings. He had normal behavior, calm, cooperative, speech was coherent, his memory intact, and exhibited good judgment.
Baleeta obujulizi obw'omusawo gwe bayita Nwamanya Emmanuel wa poliisi era naye yamukebera obwongo ennaku z'omwezi 7 ogwokuna 2026 ng'omusango guno gumaze okubaawo ennaku 5 n'agamba nti yali ategeera bulungi nga mukakamu ng'akwatagana naye bulungi ng'ayogera bulungi ate ng'asobola okumanya ekituufu n'ekitali kituufu.
Okay. His thought process and content was normal, but he believed in wealth by human sacrifice.
N'agamba nti yali alowooza bulungi naye nga yali akkiririza mu ssaddaaka.
He was able to explain the reasons for killing the children as fortune hunting or enrichment.
Nti yamugamba nti ensonga lwaki yatta abaana yali ayagala kufuna bya bugagga.
He got the idea on recalling childhood folk tales of getting wealth by sacrificing people.
Era ekyo yakijja ku ngero ze yawuliranga ng'akyali muto ez'okusaddaaka abantu okufuna ebyobugagga.
The accused person in his testimony stated that from January to March 2026, he underwent distress and encountered people who influenced his actions of 2nd April 2026.
Omuwawabirwa yagamba nti wakati wa January n'ogwokusatu 2026 yali mwenyamuvu olw'ensonga y'abantu be yasinkananga ate ng'agamba be bavunaanyizibwako bye yakola nga 2 ogwokuna 2026.
I find this move by the accused person very calculated because he smartly targets a period immediately after his sanity and mental examination done on 30th December at IHK at his own request and instance.
N'agamba nti kirabika bino omuwawabirwa yabibala kubanga yalaba ekiseera ng'amaze okugenda okumukebera obwongo mu mwezi gwa December 2025.
Now I'm saying that the accused person is smart. He brings the period after the examination so that we don't know what happened after the 30th of December.
Yali mugezi nnyo era n'akibala n'agenda n'akola bino nga
he intelligently and smartly supposes that his distress happened after that examination, which would mean therefore that the distress after 30th December is the reason for his actions of 2nd April 2026.
Yali mugezi nnyo n'aleeta ensonga y'okugamba nti yali mwennyamivu wakati wa January n'ogwokusatu 2026 nga bamaze okumukebera 3 ogw'Okubiri 2025 n'agamba nti ebyo bye byamuviirako bye yakola nga 2 ogwokuna 2026.
He also smartly and intelligently brings this period of his alleged distress to fall before his next psychiatric and mental examination that was done on 7th April 2026 by Dr. Nwamanya Emmanuel on Police Form 24.
Era yaleeta ekiseera kino kye yali mwennyamivu nga ebbanga lye yayogera yali nga tannatuusa we bamukeberera nga 7 ogwokuna 2026.
In light of the above smart move by the accused person, this court will proceed to examine and assess his conduct and lifestyle between January and 2nd April 2026 when he committed the offense to determine whether or not he was mentally functional.
Olw'ensonga nti yakola ebintu bino mu ngeri y'amagezi kooti egenda kutunuulira engeri yeeyisaamu wakati wa January ne 2 ogwokuna 2026 okulaba oba omutwe gwe gwali kukola bulungi.
Prosecution adduced the evidence of Mr. Paul Mukasa Paul He was PW9, and he was the landlord of the accused person in Bunga for a period between November 2025 and March 2026. And he testified that while he was renting his house, the accused person was a very good person, relating well with others, and that he did not notice anything odd or irregular with his conduct.
Oludda oluwaabirwa aleeta omujulizi gwe bayita Mukasa Paul eyali landlord w'omuwawaabirwa ebbunga n'agamba nti yali landlord we kubanga ogw'okuminagumu 2025 okutuusa nga ogwokusatu 2026 era n'agamba nti bwe yabeera ku nnyumba ye yali muntu mulungi nga yeeyisa bulungi ate ng'akwatagana bulungi ne bamuliraanwa.
According to the evidence of Makai Joel, now that's the landlord of Chanja, where the accused person was staying at the time of this offense, the person approached him for a house to rent. The accused person approached him for a house to rent on 16th March 2026, and he came with a broker.
Era waliwo omujulizi Makai Joel ono yali landlord we Chanja era nga yagendayo ne broker we ng'anoonya ennyumba nga 16 ogwokusatu 2026.
The accused entered into a transaction with him to rent a house for 4 months. He was informed that the monthly house rent was 400,000, and he was supposed to pay 4 months up front. And the accused was further informed that payment was supposed to be made in the bank. The accused then requested for the bank account details, after which he went and paid in the bank and returned a bank slip to the witness.
Nti era bwe yatuukayo ng'anoonya ennyumba n'akkiriza n'awandiika endagaano ng'agamba nti apangisiza emyezi 4 ne bamugamba nti buli mwezi ajja kusasula 40,000 ne bamugamba nti ezo ssente alina ozisasula mu banka era n'abasaba bank account ebikwata ku banka ne bazimuwa n'agenda mu banka n'asasula ssente n'aleeta n'akapapula ke yasasuliddeko.
From this evidence, this court finds that at this point the accused person was in very good health, mentally functional, and in control of his actions. Otherwise, how would he even know that he needed a broker to get a house, or how would he know how to make payments in the bank?
Kkooti egamba nti akaseera ako yali bulungi nga n'omutwe gwe gutegeera bulungi kubanga yategeera atya nti yali yeetaaga bbulooka okufuna ennyumba n'ategeera nti alina okugenda ne mu banka kusasula ssente.
The prosecution also adduced the evidence of Hashim Juma, the director of Trip Car Rental Uganda for Self-Drive, who testified that the accused person first contacted his company via the business WhatsApp number on the 12th of March 2026, and he was inquiring about their car hire services.
Era baleeta omujulizi gwe bayita Hashim Juma nga yali wa Trip Car Rental nga ono yabatuukirira ku WhatsApp n'abasaba emmotoka ng'agenda kugyevugira era yabatuukirira nga 12 ogwokusatu 2026.
The accused was using an American number, and he told the witness that he needed the car the next day. The next day, the accused called the witness and told him he was already at the meeting location, but because he had not confirmed, the witness, that is Juma, was not there. He had not reached, and when he reached, he found when the accused person had already left. This was at the Freedom City Mall.
Nti yali akozesa enamba ya Amerika era n'amugamba nti yali yeetaaga emmotoka olunaku oluddako era enkeera yatuukako nga Juma yali tannatuukawo era omuwawaabirwa ye n'avaawo n'agenda ate awo waali ku Freedom City.
Okay, then the accused contacted the witness again on 14th March and said that he had left because he was rushing somewhere and couldn't wait, but he would rent the car the following week.
Era omuwawaabirwa yaddamu n'amugamba nga 14 ogwokusatu 2026 n'amugamba nti luli yali amuleseewo alina gye yali agenda n'amugamba nti ayagala emmotoka ayagala gikozesa wiiki eddako.
I am giving all this detail because I'm trying to show the conduct or the actions of the accused person during the period he says he was in distress.
Ali mu kusoma bino byonna musobole okutegeera nti bye yali akola mu kiseera kye yali agamba nti yali mwenyamivu.
The accused person contacted the witness again on the 31st of March through a WhatsApp and told him that he needed to rent the car again for 2 days, that is 1st April and 2nd April 2026.
Era nga 3 mu lumu ogwokusatu 2026 yaddamu n'amusindikira WhatsApp n'amugamba nti yali ayagala kukozesa emmotoka kumala ennaku 2 nga lumu ne 2 ogwokuna 2026.
The witness then offered to deliver him the car that evening of 31st March, which the accused was agreeable to. The witness then requested for directions to the location, and he was informed that it was in Chanja. The witness further asked for a Google pin, which the accused person provided, and following the Google pin, the witness was led directly to the house where the accused was staying in Chanja.
Era omujulizi yamugamba nti asobola kumutwalira motoka, omuwawaabirwa n'akkiriza n'amugamba nti agimuleetera ekyanja. Ono kwe kumusaba pin oba ekimulaga gy'ali, era bwe yagimusindikira n'emutwala n'emutuusa ku nnyumba gye yali.
The accused person received the vehicle and also gave the witness his American passport and American driving license for his identification. The witness took photographs of them and handed them back to the accused person. And the accused asked for the mode of payment. He was told that he could pay with mobile money, and he transferred 388,000 shillings for car hire for 2 days on self-drive.
Nti era emmotoka yagifuna n'amuwa passport ne pamiti. Omujulizi n'abikuba ebifaananyi n'abimuddiza era n'amubuuza oba asobola kusasuza mobile money, oli n'akkiriza n'amusindikira emitwalo 38,800.
The witness further testified that during his interaction with the accused person, both online and physically, the accused did not present any abnormal behavior. According to him, a person of unsound mind would not have transacted with him the way he did. That the accused person, if he was of unsound mind, he would not have been able to transact online, use mobile money, would not have been given a driver's license, among others.
N'agamba nti akaseera ke bayogerezaganya wamu yali talaba ennyisa yonna etali ya bulijjo. N'agamba singa yali tategeera bulungi, yali tasobola kukozesa mobile money, yali tasobola kubatuukirira ng'abasaba motoka.
He also testified that later in that night, the accused person called him asking for the car keys because he had forgotten to give them to him when he delivered the motor vehicle earlier in the evening. The witness then told him that he would send the keys with a border rider, and as early as 7 a.m. on 1st, the border had delivered the keys. He was even able to direct the border to where his home was in Chanja.
Era oluvannyuma ekiro yakubira kumubuuza wa gye yali atadde ebisumuluzo, kubanga oli yali yeerabidde ebisumuluzo, n'amugamba nti agenda kumusindikira wa boda ku makya. Era saawa emu ez'okumakya ebisumuluzo bali babireese nga yamukubira n'amulagirira wa gye yaali.
On 1st April 2026 at around 11, the witness testified that the accused called him and told him that the car had mechanical issues, and when he asked his location, he told him he was in Bunga and he sent a mechanic to fix the car.
Nga lumu ogwokuna 2026 saawa 5 nti omuwawaabirwa yamukubira ng'amugamba nti emmotoka yali efunye obuzibu, n'amubuuza wa gye yaali, n'amugamba nti yali Bunga, kwe kumusindikira makanika.
And after about 1.5 hours, the accused person again called the witness and told him that he was at Ginger Road roundabout, but informed him that the car had failed again.
Era oluvannyuma lw'essaawa mu kitundu yaddamu n'amukubira n'agamba nti yali ku roundabout ye Ginger Road ate ng'emmotoka yali yazzeemu okufuna obuzibu.
The witness then advised him to drive it to Shell Ginger Road and park the car there, which the accused person did.
Era n'amugamba nti emmotoka agivuga agitwale ku Shell ku Ginger Road, n'agivuga n'agitwalayo.
I examined the WhatsApp communication between the accused person and the witness regarding the hiring of the motor vehicle, which was extracted and incorporated in the digital forensic examination report. And I have found that the conversation between the accused person and the witness regarding the car hire was very accurate and coherent.
Oweekitiibwa omulamuzi atunuulidde bye baayogerako nga bali ku WhatsApp ebikwatagana ku kupangisa emmotoka ate nga babiwandiika mu alipoota gye baleeta mu kooti n'akakasa nti kusinziira bwe baali boogera omuwawaabirwa nti yali ayogera bulungi nga bye yali ayogerako byali bikwatagana.
The accused person clearly knew what he wanted, clearly directed the witness to his home at Namgera Close in Chanja, and even went ahead to give more details that where he resided, that it was the first gate on the left side, and that he had told the custodian to wait for him because it was raining.
Nti yali amanyi kyeyali yeetaaga kubanga yamugamba nti yali abeera Chanja era n'amunnyonnyola bulungi gye yali abeera ng'agamba nti yali geeta esooka ku mukono gwa kkono n'amugamba nti yali ataddeko omuntu akumulinda.
In addition to that, the accused person provided a Google pin to his location.
Nti ate okwongereza ku ekyo yamuwa ne pin eraga wa gye yali.
The accused person was actually in total control of his actions and was very mentally functional because his communication was not only coherent but at the gate and had a conversation with PW6, that is Phoebe Namutebi.
Era agenda kwogera ku byaliwo ku gate nga lumu ogwokuna 2026 omwawabirwa bwe yagenda ku gate n'ayogera ne Phoebe.
PW6 testified to the conversation that she had with the accused person regarding the enrollment of his child.
Phoebe yajja n'agamba nti bayogera nga boogera ku ky'okukwatagana n'okuleeta omwana kuwandiisa omwana mu ssomero eryo.
Yes, he said he had a child who was 3 years, and when he was told that they don't take 3 years, he should take to the nursery section, he said he had tried, but he had been advised to take his child to a place where there are other children because she was not social and she would learn with the many children.
Nti era yagamba nti omwana gwe yali agenda kuwandiisa yali wa myaka 3 ne bamugamba nti bo bali tebawandiika ba myaka 3 ne bamuwabula nti omwana mutwale mu bannasale. N'agamba nti yali agezezaako okumutwala mu bannasale ne bamugamba nti amutwale awantu awali abaana bangi olw'ensonga nti yali takwatagana bulungi n'abantu abalala ng'asobola kukwatagana bulungi n'abantu nga abadde n'abaana abalala.
He went ahead to propose to Phoebe that when he is allowed to enroll the child, Phoebe should monitor the child for him, and when she picks up, then he can take her to a nursery section.
Era yagamba Phoebe nti bw'aba aleese omwana asigale nga mumulabirako amulaba nti bw'amala okubeera nga asobola kukwatagana n'abantu abalala amutwale mu nursery.
He then asked Phoebe what was required to enroll this child, and Phoebe told him all the requirements, and he promised to return the next day to make payments.
Era yabuuza ebyali byetaagisa okuwandiisa omwana. Phoebe n'abimugamba n'agamba nti agenda kukomawo enkeera okusasula.
On the next day, which is the date of the incident, the 2nd of April 2026, the accused person returned to the gate of the center.
Nga 2 ogwokuna 2026 luno bino byatuukako kwolwo omwawabirwa yakomawo ku gate y'essomero eryo.
And when Phoebe saw him, she went to him and he told her that he had come to make payments so that his child could be enrolled at the center.
Phoebe bwe yamulaba n'agenda ku gate. Bwe yatuukawo omwawabirwa n'amugamba nti yali aze okusasulira omwana atandike.
Phoebe then took him and introduced him to Miss Annette, PW7, and they also engaged in a deep conversation regarding the child.
Phoebe yamutwala n'amwanjulira Annette, era bwe yatuukayo era ne basigala ne boogera ku byali bikwata ku mwana oyo.
The detail of the conversation is in the judgment, but it shows a coherent person who was in control of his actions and his speech and did not present any odd behavior to Miss Phoebe and Miss Annette.
Bye baayogerako ebisinga babiwandiise mu nsala y'omusango, naye biri nti bwe baayogera wamu yali yeeyisa bulungi ate nga bye yali ayogera byali bikwatagana bwe yali ayogera ne Annette ne Phoebe.
And when he asked for the requirements and he was told